Hi friends, here is another gentle movement class for you. It seems that is one of the popular classes in the library, and just a nice blend of gentle and accessible movements, breath work, stretching, and relaxation. We'll start on the ground today. I've got a couple of blankets as well as a block. We'll probably just use one. If you have those available, great, but you can also improvise with cushions. And we'll start with a quieter pose today. So starting on the ground, gathering one of our blankets and creating a blanket roll. So I'm working my way in from this longer end of the blanket because it's going to sit right under and along our spine. Placing this onto the mat. And you're likely going to want some support under the neck and head, so maybe draping a cushion or another blanket right over that. We're going to work with the knees bent, my feet a little wider, the knees that come together in the middle. And then see if you can lie down on this blanket roll, keeping the neck and head a little higher, slightly supported here. And then go ahead and open your arms out to your sides for now. Now, this might require a little fine-tuning and adjusting. If the pressure in your back is a little too strong, simply scoot forward and away from that blanket roll and that edge. And then close your eyes and give yourself a little bit of time to arrive on your mat, but also to kind of arrive in your body a little more. And what I mean by that is that we quite often throughout the day spend a lot of time in and around our thinking and planning mind. And I invite you to kind of make that transition and shift your attention into your body a little bit more now. Yeah. Make the next breath just a little bit bigger. Exhale with a sigh. And while we give our back and spine just a little bit more time here, it's one of those supported postures that's particularly fabulous after too much time spent in a seated position. But let's go ahead and bring arms along the sides of the body, and we'll include a little bit of shoulder and breath work here. With your next inhalation, see if you can reach your arms straight up to the ceiling and all the way down towards your ears. And then take the arms back up and reverse that movement as you exhale. So we're slowly breathing in as the arms reach up and overhead. And we're slowly breathing out as the arms come down onto the ground. And I encourage a slightly longer and slower breath here now. And as we're slowing down, it really gives us an opportunity to notice so much more detail, especially around your shoulders, your chest, your neck. Yeah, try that just a couple more times, and if you like, you can inhale and even hold your breath, hovering in that shoulder stretch for just a moment. And then exhale, let it go. And try that just one more time. Breathe in. Pause. And slowly breathe out. Yeah, let your arms relax. Maybe let palms flip open again. And with the knees bent, let's go ahead and roll over to either side and use the support of your hands to press yourself up to sit. All right, we're headed into a tabletop position. So see if you can either move your blankets, or you might consider using one of those blankets under your knees. So having a little padding and support can be really lovely here. Knees below the hips, hands below the shoulders. Always feel free to use your fist if the wrists are a little tender today. And then take a breath in, finding a slight arch in the spine, and take a breath out as you round your back to look down. And we're going to repeat that, breathing in and breathing out, cat and cow. Try about 3 more rounds on your own, incorporating your breath. Yeah, and just one more time. Well, hello, Mr. Smokes. Well, find our way up to stand. So curl your toes under, walk your feet forward, walk your hands back, come all the way up. The feet about hip width apart. We're going to bring in some light and easy twisting here for a moment, continuing to really support our spine, releasing any tension or stiffness from the back. Yeah, and as we come into these first standing postures, yeah, it's a different orientation. But this is where we're going to start moving a little bit more actively and dynamically. Repeating this a few more times, see if you can add in your breath, perhaps breathing in as you turn to one side, breathing out as you turn to the other side. Yeah, maybe breath needs to be a little faster or slower for you, so see what you need there. And let's try just a couple more of those to each side. And then begin to slow this all down. Movements are getting a little lighter and easier. And then come on back to center. Take a big breath in here. And a long breath out. Let's breathe in again, reaching the arms out and up towards the ceiling, making the whole body really long. And then see if you can bend both knees, coming into a little chair pose, spine straight while interlacing the hands behind the back. Straighten both legs and draw the shoulders back. It's okay if elbows are a little bent, but we're really looking for this chest opening here. Release your hands, bend your knees again, chair pose. This time though, I'm bringing my arms into what we call the cactus arms, meaning arms bend at these 90-degree angles. And this is another form of a chest opening, meaning the shoulders are drawing back. The elbows can come down a little if that feels better to you. And then release your arms and fold your upper body over your lower body into a forward fold. I always enjoy bending my knees here a little so I can allow my back muscles to relax and lengthen a little more easily. Take just another breath in and out. And then open your arms out to your sides. Look forward, come up through a flat back, and lower your arms back down by your sides. I want to go through this sequence in that slower pace one more time to help clarify some details. I'll turn around and then we'll move through it a few times together with some more repetition. But let's go ahead and breathe in as the arms come out and up. You can keep your spine straight, but bend your knees coming into a chair. Interlace your hands behind your back. As the legs straighten, open the chest and keeping the neck long, though you may slightly look up at the ceiling if that feels nice in your neck. We'll release the hands, bending the knees, bending the elbows into those cactus arms. And then come back up to stand. Draw your elbows back, maybe look slightly up. And then fold forward into your standing forward fold. So after these two chest openings, really engaging those upper back and shoulder muscles, this moment here is really to let it all go. Let it all hang, bend your knees as needed, let your head drop. And take just another breath here. And then as you look forward, lift your chest, open arms out to your sides, come all the way up to stand, hands overhead, and bring arms down by your sides. Let's go through it, combining that movement with our breathing. So inhale as the arms come up. Exhale as the knees bend, the hands reach back. Breathe in as you draw the shoulders back, look slightly up. Breathe out, bend the knees, find your cactus arms. As you straighten the legs, draw your elbows back. And exhale, fold forward and over your legs, let the head drop. Look forward again and moving through that long spine. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And lower your arms back down by your sides. Let's repeat. Inhale, let the arms come up. Bend your knees, slight chair pose, the hands reach back. Breathe in as the legs straighten and the chest opens. Breathe out, bending the knees, bending the elbows. Come right back up into that chest opening, elbows back. Fold upper body over lower body, standing forward fold. Look forward, lift your chest, inhale deeply as you come back up to stand. And let arms come down by your sides. Couple more rounds. Breathe in. Bend the knees, breathe out. Draw your shoulders back, inhale, look up. Bend your knees, cactus arms. Inhale as you draw the elbows back. And fold forward and over your legs to exhale. Gaze forward, arms out, inhale deeply. Arms long by your sides. One last round. Feel free to move at your own pace. I'll give you a little space here. And then the next time the arms reach overhead, inhale, exhale, let it go. And then see about placing one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Close your eyes for just a moment. And as you offer yourself this short pause, just check in, notice your body here. Feel your breath. And notice anything that's here with you today, any thoughts, responses, feelings, moods, all allow, just taking a moment to touch on what's here for you right now. Yeah, take another breath in and out. We're going to come to face the long side of the mat, stepping the feet a little further apart into a straddle. Feet are parallel with the toes pointing forward. And I'm going to show you briefly what's coming because you'll be with your head down. But we're going to work with some twisting movements and forward bends. The arms are out. And the idea is to let hand come across towards the opposite ankle or shin. We'll do that a few times side to side. But at some point, I'll have you pause with this top hand resting on your back so that the shoulder doesn't have to tire out too much. Okay? So we'll start arms wide, taking up a lot of space here. Take a long breath in through the nose. And then let left hand reach across towards the right ankle. The opposite arm comes straight up to the ceiling. See if you can inhale and come back up to stand. And exhale as you reach across. Breathe in to come up. And slowly breathe out to switch. Breathe in as you come up and breathe out as you switch. Now, this is where it's less about sort of powering through and getting in as many of those as possible, but rather move slowly and encourage those longer and slower breaths. Yeah. And then come to either side. So with the next breath, wherever you land, go ahead and pause there for a moment. Let your hand reach across. And then the top arm, bend your elbow and bring the back of your hand to the lower back to just rest there. You may let your neck relax, let the head drop just a little more. And this time we'll take a few slow breaths here. If balance is a little wobbly, of course, feel free to use your hand maybe on the floor or a yoga block to have a little more stability here. Yeah, and one thing that can happen here sometimes is that one hip kind of drops and lowers. So see if you can get a sense for your hips being quite leveled and centered. And take just another 2 deep breaths here. Yeah. And then we'll breathe in to come back up and switching to the other side for that slightly longer hold and stretch. So see if you can settle in. Absolutely no need to force anything along. So keep this light, keep this easy. Breathe here now. Yeah, take just another breath here. And then breathe in as you come back up to stand. Lower your arms and step feet together now. We were head down, this kind of inversion for quite some time. So please take just a moment here to stand. Take a couple of breaths. Yeah. All right, we'll head back down onto the mat, coming onto our belly, so facing down with your legs long behind you. And see if you can make a pillow with your hands so that hands are right under your forehead and we're giving our nose a little bit of space here. I'll give you just a moment here, just as we make our way back to the mat, offering the body this brief moment of rest. To notice maybe even the quality of your breathing, meaning with the floor pressed against your belly and chest. Perhaps you're a little more aware of breathing into the back body, the back, the shoulders. Now we're going to bring a little more attention into the lower body and starting quite simple really by bending and straightening the left leg. So bending the knee, pulling the heel towards your buttocks, and then go ahead and straighten the leg again. This is a simple but a great movement for a little bit of knee care. And I invite you to explore how much you are able to bend the knees. So even to a point where there's a little bit of that muscular effort as you pull the heel towards your buttocks and feeling the backside of your thigh and glutes engaging with that. The other thing that's happening here is we are lengthening the front of the thigh and hip. And so go ahead and try that just one more time. Yeah, and then we'll bend the knee and pausing where the ankle is approximately over the knee. And this time, see if you can lift your knee and maybe your thigh slightly off the ground. And then slowly release back down. Lifting up just a little. And lower back down. So we're keeping the knee bent this time. Lifting and lowering the knee and thigh. Yeah. Try that just a couple more times. Good. And then go ahead and straighten the leg and we'll switch sides right away. So starting with this more simple, more gentle movement, which is really just flexing and extending our knee joint. Yeah, and so you can explore a little further and see, how much can I pull my heel towards my buttocks? So starting to wake up those hamstring and glute muscles. Yeah, try that just one more time. And then we'll come into that position where the leg is bent, the ankle somewhere above the knee. And this time, this is going to get us in there a little more. The intention is to lift the knee and maybe the thigh slightly off the ground, and see if you can do this while keeping the hip on the floor. So it's likely going to be a pretty small movement. Yeah, and try this maybe another 3 times. Yeah. And then go ahead and let your legs straighten again. Take a bigger breath in. and out. And take a brief moment just to notice right side, left side of the body. Maybe also about a half an hour or so into practice, also notice you. Notice how these physical movements and postures may also have an influence on how you are feeling. Yeah, take just another breath here. All right, now we'll explore just one more movement here that also is about strengthening the back side of the body, but we'll include the back and shoulders just a little more. So from this position, forehead resting on the hands, see about your head lifting and looking slightly forward. And at the same time, see if you can give the lower body a slight lift. So this can all be really small. And then go ahead and release all the way down. So engaging as you lift your forehead and your legs slightly off the ground. And then release. And see if you can release all the way. So this moment where every single muscle in the body completely lets go. And then we might add breath. We may inhale as we lift a little. And we may exhale to let it all go. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Try that just a couple more times. Working your back, your core. Great, and as you bring that to an end, we'll transition right away, hands below your shoulders, press up to tabletop. And if you are in the mood for a little movement, I'll invite you to go through that cat and cow movement a few times. It's going to feel especially good rounding the spine to stretch all the muscles that we were just working. Or you can come into a child's pose if that deeper knee bend feels okay in your body. Yeah. And so whether you are choosing a moment to rest or maybe engaging with some small movements, in some ways, see if you can really honor your own choices. You know, we all have different needs as we go through these practices, and I always encourage your own choices and a little freestyle along the way. So take just a couple more breaths with that. Beautiful. And then make your way onto your back. Have your yoga props in reach, your blocks, blankets. For now, we're going to come onto our back for a supported bridge, meaning the feet are flat on the ground here. We're lifting up and choosing really any height setting of the block. The lower setting is nice because it gives us a little more surface so that the block can support the kind of upper portion of the pelvis right above your tailbone. Yeah. Take a moment and really let the weight of your hips settle into that support now. The arms may be long by your sides or out into a T shape, wherever is most comfortable for you. We are at this point in practice where we are starting to slow down a little bit more. I know it's easy to kind of see the value in the more active, more dynamic, maybe even slightly more challenging portions of yoga, because we can really feel like there's a lot happening. So it's easy to assume that that is the more valuable part of yoga. But personally, I believe that the quietness and stillness is just as important. But notice for yourself if maybe there is the urge to maybe close the computer and cut your practice a little shorter and be on your way. And I really get it. I really do. And that's where we make a choice, right? Yes, maybe there really isn't enough time and we need to be on our way. And other times we may really intentionally make that choice to say, hey, I'm going to give myself just another few minutes here to breathe, to connect with my body and any sensations that are here in your body now. But also to come into this space where we are perhaps more fully embracing what's happening within right now. So whether you are starting to drop into this quieter, more kind of relaxed state, or whether something got a little stirred up and you're feeling a little restless today, I invite you to make space for yourself just the way you are right now. Extending a little more acceptance and kindness towards yourself. Where nothing needs fixing or changing, you are simply allowing yourself to just be. Take another, maybe slightly bigger breath in. And out, and then press into your feet. Start out by lowering all the way down, maybe widening the feet, letting the knees come together, resting your back for just a moment. Yeah. And if this is a comfortable place to be, perhaps adding a blanket or a neck roll to support your head, go ahead and stay here. Or if you'd like to bring in a little bit of external hip rotation, you may bring the feet together and open your knees apart into a butterfly. Now, I recommend adding some support, maybe your 2 yoga blocks under your knees and thighs, perhaps a couple of cushions. And then drop back into yourself one last time. Notice the support that you've chosen for your body here, whether it's just the floor or maybe any props that you have incorporated here. And while we're giving our bodies a few more moments to rest, see if you can begin to kind of hone in on your breathing a little bit more. And I invite you to make your own choice, as in maybe deepening or lengthening the breath. Keeping breath quiet or making breath a little bit more audible. So you may find that changing your breath helps you connect with your breath a little more, right? Sometimes when we make our breath a little bigger, it's easier to stay aware of breathing. Or maybe what feels most supportive to you right now is the opposite. Really letting the breath just be without doing anything with it, watching this really natural and more subtle breathing now. But either way, we're using our breath as this sort of anchor, as what can really hold our attention in this moment here, right now. You know, it really only takes one intentional breath to come back to this present moment and also to come back to you. So anytime we find ourselves a little caught in thinking and ruminating, just that reminder to come back to our breath. It seems so simple, but can really be quite profound. Yeah, so go ahead and take just one more breath here, maybe a big sigh if you like. And this time we'll bring knees together if you were in that butterfly, and use the support of your hands to draw the knees in and towards your chest. And we're going to pause here for a moment, coming into a bit of a back stretch. The knees may be together or apart. It's going to feel a little different in the hips or even lower back. So see what feels nice there in your body. Notice being here now. Notice breathing in. And notice breathing out. And then eventually make your way onto your side and use the support of your hands to press yourself back up to sit. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for practicing yoga. And namaste.